reflecting back on probably what none of us like to really reflect back on, and that's, you know, what happened in Newtown, Connecticut. And this seems that it's one of those things that all of us carry a heavy heart with, and everybody deals with it differently. But I think all of us should deal with it some way, somehow. And I guess, as I see it, and it seemed like all of us would share in the responsibility of what happened and take some of the blame, and hopefully that by everyone looking at what's good for the people of the United States, big, old, little, whatever, and maybe come with some way, you know, we don't know what the answer is, no one does, maybe come with some way that we can prevent anything of this nature happening again. We know that we don't control all those factors, but I do believe if we don't put our mind, talking about our country, in one direction and thinking about what can we do to help alleviate these kind of things, not just the one there, but everywhere, but this is the one that hurts me so bad as you look at these pictures that come across the TV, and sometimes I just have to close my eyes. I just can't, I guess I just can't deal with it as a person, but I think all of us deal with it in our own way, but if there's anything that we can do here in Lincoln County in the state to alleviate problems like this, whether it be working with our school system or whether it be working with parents who need help or kids who we see it needs help, we sometimes are hesitant to step up and get involved, but something like this tells me that you can never do too much, and maybe we should just think about, as we have entering such a joyous season, that maybe we should figure out what can we do just a little bit to help someone else. So appreciate that.
Thank you, Charles.
Would everyone please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This session of the Lincoln County Commission on December the 20th, 2012, at 10 a.m. is now called to order. Members present: Darrell Baker, Clerk; Charles McCann, President; Charles Vance, Commissioner; Gary Matthews, Jr., Commissioner. First thing on the agenda, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular session of the Lincoln County Commission that was held on December the 6th, 2012, at 6 p.m.
I'll move. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All yes, motion carries.
Next thing on discussion of concern, we have Christy Linville and a few classmates.
Welcome all. Appreciate you coming in with us. Christy talked to me earlier. She's working on this, and so we finally got to the point we'll have some discussion.
Mr. McCann, Dr. Vance, Mr. Matthews, good morning. My name is Christy Linville, and I am here representing the Duval High School class of 65. We, as a class, have come together to honor a classmate of ours, Corporal Richard D. McGee. With the help of Delegate Josh Stowers, we have requested the West Virginia Division of Highways to name the intersection of State Route 214 and State Route 3 in Yawkey, West Virginia, the Corporal Richard D. McGee Memorial Train. We have been assured that this request will be honored and are making plans for the dedication and memorial service that will be held at the Samarico Church of God, the church that Richard attended in Yawkey, West Virginia, on May the 18th, 2013. I have given you a copy of the resolution that will be presented to the West Virginia State Legislature in February, and a picture of Richard to help you to know him, a brave young man who gave his life for his country in the rugged mountains of the Central Highlands of Vietnam on a mountain called Dak To, located about 280 miles north of Saigon, near the Cambodian border. Richard volunteered to serve his country. He enlisted in the United States Army, where he trained to be a paratrooper and became a member of the 173rd Airborne Brigade, an elite unit that is still active today. On November the 3rd, 1967, Richard Juna began a series of major engagements that lasted until November the 22nd. 19 days of horrific battles that left hundreds of Americans dead, and sadly, Richard was one of the brave Americans that gave their life in the Battle of Dak To in the Kon Province in the Republic of Vietnam. As you can see from the resolution, Richard received numerous awards: Combat Infantry Badge, National Defense Service Medal, Parachutist Badge, and Richard was awarded the Bronze Star from the Department of the United States Army and the President of the United States for meritorious achievement in ground operations against hostile forces. Richard also helped his unit to receive many distinguished decorations. We, the class of '65, feel honored to show our gratitude and thankfulness to such a true American hero as Richard D. McGee. And we are requesting that you, the Lincoln County Commission, declare May 18, 2013, Corporal Richard D. McGee Day throughout the entire county, so that all of us, all of Lincoln County, can know and remember this courageous young man, Corporal Richard D. McGee, a young soldier from Yawkey, West Virginia, Lincoln County, who gave his life for his country, his state, and his county.
Very deserved. You've heard the request and good presentation from Chris. Have a motion motion, second, to declare May 18th, 2013 shall be done. Is there somebody else in your group that wishes to speak for
I
anything?
don't think so. We would be very appreciative if one or all of you all would take an active part in the dedication ceremony on
We'd be
Wednesday.
happy, I'm sure, to try to do that, and for something you need from us in planning and preparation, just feel free to call, let us know what you need from us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next thing on the agenda is Daryl Baker, our clerk, wants to talk to the commission about some employee annual leave time.
Welcome, Darrell.
I had 3 employees due to working elections and with payroll and very busy year they've had. They presented me that there was this letter said it was impossible to take some of their annual vacation time. They should have a copy in your folder, the letter, how many days and how much translates to pay for their overtime. They're requesting that they be compensated. I told them that was we would bring before the commission and let them decide.
Okay. Do we have $2,400 or so? We have $44,000 or so.
Not in his.
Not in, that's what we want.
But
Where is partial?
Commissioners, I'll explain a little bit. According to our personnel policies that was adopted in 1991, and that had to do with the lawsuit that was brought against Jack Cooper. In federal court, the personnel policies were adopted at that time, and at no time can we...
Jeff Bowen, if you're in the building, you have a phone call on line 3. Jeff Bowen, line 3.
And at no time can we amend those personnel policies unless they are taken back to the federal court. In the personnel policies, it states that an employee can own, they accrue the first 2 years of their employment, 6 2/3 hours a month vacation, and 1.5 days sick. 2 or more years, they accrue 10 hours a month vacation and 1.5 days sick. At the end of it also states in there with vacation that you cannot carry over from one calendar year to the next, no more than 15 days of vacation and 30 days sick. And we have some of the deputies, we have 2 employees in the commission's office, and 1 employee in the circuit clerk's office, and 3 employees in the county clerk's office that have accrued more vacation than, and they're gonna lose it. And what they're asking, if they cannot be compensated in dollar amount, can they carry it over to be in comp time?
What I thought I heard was that could we actually carry it over to comp time without going back and revisiting this federal case? Is that wiggle room in there?
Well, and just to bring up a point too, and it seems to me like we discussed some of this before, not this particular thing, but this is based upon the assumption everybody's working 5 days a week, right? I mean, this was,
40 hours.
this was brought out that, and are we doing that?
Well, that's what we started last time, you're correct, in the discussion, was each elected official needs to make sure that their people are doing their time sheets and providing 40-hour work week and those kind of things. They sign and assure that. Now, beyond that, I couldn't tell you, but they have started doing that. We've asked them to do that for weeks.
Because I know that was a problem we had before, is people saying they were here 5 days a week, it was only 4.
I think that it has been taken up since that issue was brought up, and I think all employees are working. I don't think there's any more free Fridays.
And that was a big issue there for a while. The only thing I see is that we have done it in the past, assuming that there's money available, but in Darrell's case, we would have to, we'd have to supplement his budget. We're gonna have to supplement some anyway in election, in order to get through this school thing, although we'll get that money back in due time, but with the election coming up in February, school, we're gonna have to transfer money into that particular area anyway. But, and we do have money set aside to do that with. When Mr. Yu came and requested the money for elections, we still have some money in our budget before that, if we went on down the road of having those people continue to work extra. So I don't know how many dollars that is, but there's several there, 15, maybe 1,000 or something.
How do we handle the people in other offices that are in the same situation?
Well, I think you'd have to send something around each elected official and say, the commission has permitted you to, compensate your employees for documented time that's beyond what the policy says, when you're sick or whatever, and you send us a timesheet and you'll receive extra pay. We have to treat everybody exactly the same.
Get them home before policy.
Yeah, that's what I'd suggest. Do we need a motion, I believe, to authorize the clerk's office and the county commission office to gather the necessary information to verify that we do have comp time, sick leave beyond what the 15 days and 30 days provided in policy, and with that submit a invoice for payment and go from there. We have a motion. So something to that effect.
I'll move. I'll second.
Moved and second. And all yes vote.
And at a later date, once all this is completed, I will have to come back to the commission for a budget revision, because that budget revision will have to be sent to the state tax department. And Ryan's not here, and Rick, so we'll, now on to unfinished business. Yes. At the last commission meeting, we had talked about hiring an engineering company for agricultural design.